Hi, everyone. Just a few updates on things to go over and look for today. If you are not in class, please make sure you have your assignments completed. Chapter 4 quiz by the end of the day today. If you did not upload your school district profile, please email that to me. And then Chapter 5 quiz that we went over in class will be due next Wednesday. Chapter 5 is on the historical components of foundations of U.S. education. The quiz that we have for this is pretty much going to go through the components of historical U.S. colonized education. So you can follow through this PowerPoint and probably be able to find a lot of the answers for the quizzes. I think a lot of you are aware of the components of the historical education of the U.S. from like colonies moving forward. So I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on that today, which I didn't. But please take a look through these. Some of these you know and understand, some of them you don't in terms of the historical piece of that. But take a look at that. I've got another thing here that I'm going to go through or show you in terms of the education of educational timeline and a great resource for Native American education. And so we'll go over that here in a minute. But take a look at this PowerPoint in terms of the historical foundation and understanding of education in the United States. Starts way back in the colonies, way back in Massachusetts, way back in New England area, and moves west from there. So there's a lot of slides here. There's 38 slides. There's a lot of information regarding that. So take some time to look through it, read through some stuff in your book. The Land Grant Act here, we touched on just a little bit. That's what helped us in terms of tribal colleges as well to be able to come established in the 1970s. So that's kind of important for us to understand. If you have questions on any of these eras, any of these timelines, please let me know. Like I said, the quiz pretty much covers what's on the PowerPoint plus what's in the chapter. So I don't have a whole lot of questions over Native American education in there, though, as I wanted to do a little more discussion and conversation on that rather than just quiz on that. But let me see here. So yeah, please take a look, and we'll again review some of this stuff next week that we didn't get to discuss or talk about in class today, okay, with a lot of people being absent. So the one thing on the resources tab that I do want to show you where it's at, please take a look at resources right here, okay? History of Native American Education. You click on that, okay? This is going to pop up. This is a great timeline of important dates and components and things that have happened. Also, there is a lot of resources here, some videos, some articles for you to take a look at. But this timeline here takes us through some of the components of the history or historical foundations of Native American education. So as you can see here, pays up to $10,000 a year to religious groups to live and teach out here in our area, to found these mission schools, okay, to teach Native American students, to teach Native American children. Okay, so it starts way back in the early 1800s, okay, and moves its way through through a lot of different components and topics here. So take a look at this. There's a lot of things that we already know about in here, and talking about boarding schools, Carlisle Indian School, the BIE schools, but it gives us some dates and some components in terms of when these things happened, and it's in a nice timeline component. Okay, so a lot of these things you can click on. So go through this timeline, take a look at them. We talked about them here in class, sorry. But also take a look at some of this. There's a documentary that goes along with that. And actually it's a documentary on the Pine Ridge Reservation. So you can watch that. You may watch that. You may need a subscription to watch it, but it's a free subscription to Education Week if you do. So again, some stories that you could read through if you would prefer to do that as well. So there's a lot of, I think, interesting information here in this tab. So. So yeah, if you got questions on this week's assignments or any of the information that you may have missed in class, please give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to go over it with you. Otherwise, take care. Hope to see you guys next week in class or online.